Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Unscripted review of a show that has the cutest demon since my cat Julie. Yes, we're talking about the awesome series that is Demon Slayer, so let's get right into it. So, in this review, obviously it's unscripted. I'm going to be talking about the things I like, some of the things I dislike, some of the things I'm looking forward to, and some technical stuff. I'm not going to dive too deeply into the story, solely because if I use that format like I do with my episode-by-episode reviews, we'd be here all day. So, we're just going to get right into it and start by talking about generally the story and talking about what I like about it. So let's get into it. So like most shows that I really enjoy, this series has two very lofty goals. Doesn't always have to be two. I do like shows with one big goal, but this one has two that sort of go in the same direction for the most part. I'm sure that's going to change at some point, but as of right now, they're exactly the same. And they're going the same place, I guess I should say. And they are turning our main character, Tanjiro's sister, back into a human. We'll talk about that more in a minute. And defeating the main villain of the series, Muzan. Had to look it up there for a minute. And this was sort of set in motion because early on, at the very start of the series, we have our main character, Tanjiro, coming across a murder scene. The murder scene being his own family. The only person left alive was his sister, Nezuko. But Nezuko was turned into a demon, and all of these events sort of transpire to have him introduced to a member of the Demon Slayer Corps, having him introduced to his master, who ends up teaching him the art of water breathing. My cat's playing with her bell toy, that's going to have to stop. And sets us on the path that has us introduced to a plethora of interesting characters, my favorite of which is Inosuke, but we'll get into him as well in a bit. But these two main goals set us on a path that takes us so far into the future, and I'm really excited to see what they continue to do, because as of right now, it's very clear that even though our heroes, as we see through the series, are very capable, there's a lot that they can still learn, and even within the confines of this beginning season, they learn so much, and we learn, I guess, sort of. But overall, I like the story because it does get us pointed in a direction that seems very interesting and seems like it can carry us on for quite a long time. And the way the world is built to sort of assist the story, in the sense that we have this sort of rule with the Demon Slayers where they have this whole code, they have this whole organization, but we learn right at the very end of the series that they're not actually officially recognized by the government. Things like that, or for example, the fact that we not only have the main demon, Muzan, but we also have the 12 demon moons, but by the end of this series, we also have that job of defeating the 12 demon moons plus Muzan made a little easier because Muzan kind of cleans house. And there are so many story threads that if we kind of tug on one of them, I'm sure will take us down this entirely long, convoluted, interesting, well-written path, and that's what kind of makes me excited, because this show and Black Clover are pretty much the two shows that I'm sort of relying on to fill the hole in my heart that Fairy Tail left after they finished their anime run. And so far, this show alone is doing a damn fine job of it. Now that we've kind of glossed over the story, because I'm not going to really get into spoilers or anything like that with this, other than what I said earlier about Muzan, we're going to talk about the characters, because the character lineup in this series, it's very shonen, but it's still very unique, and I love every bit of it. So first off, obviously, we're introduced to Nezuko and Tanjiro. These are our two main characters, and Tanjiro actually is the main sort of character with the goals that need to be accomplished. He's the guy we're paying the most attention to, or at least are supposed to be paying the most attention to. That's the side effect of having really well-written side characters. But Tanjiro previously was sort of the village handyman, it seemed like. At least that's kind of the impression that I got, and is very dedicated to what he does, but he also strikes me as the kind of shonen hero where, as things are sort of introduced to him and taught to him, he works very hard to make those his own, make them perfect, and exceed everybody's expectations in much quicker ways than possible. Plus, he also has a hard head. There's always some weird quirk with heroes, like main shonen heroes, them eating a lot, them being ultra durable, stuff like that. And he's no different in this instance. He has a hard head and puts it to good use several times. We have Nezuko, who has only really said a handful of words in her demon form in this entire series and doesn't really say much in her human form either. But we know with her she's sort of the catalyst to this main story because her situation is extremely unique because not only is there only one demon who can easily make another person into a demon, but we also know that, as we see later in the series, her specific form of demon is extraordinarily unique because she does not eat other humans' flesh, and she just basically sleeps to regain her strength. So it's interesting how that kind of dynamic with her fighting alongside Tanjiro when the need applies is sort of played out. And when they actually fight alongside one another, it's interesting because they don't really need to talk to one another. They just kind of complement one another, which shows that her humanity is still very much intact. And by the end of the series, I did kind of wonder for a little while why they still had the bamboo bite thing there, the little bamboo muzzle. But you know what? It's the character aesthetic, and even if her humanity is not 100% there still, I think it's still just cute. I like the character design. So even if they leave it when her humanity comes back, I don't care. I'm all about it. Or the toast. I saw the one of like her as the anime schoolgirl with toast in her mouth. That's cute too. But anyway, so yeah, her specific situation is very unique, and her sort of character arc is, at least seems like it's more than just, oh, she's a demon now and the arc will be her turning back into human. We actually have a lot of character development that happens as she is sort of working out how to be slightly more human, it seems, or at least how to work with characters in her demon form. It's pretty cool. Then we get my second favorite character of the series, who is kind of a side character. We have Zenitsu, who is incredible. He is the funniest character. He is not willing to be there. He doesn't want to be there. He has no drive at all to be a demon slayer. He just kind of got dragged into it, and he's so freaking funny, and I love it. Every time he's on screen just shouting, it's so funny. And he can do lightning breath. So we have Tanjiro with water breathing, we have thunder breathing with Zenitsu, who has refined one form of that to a fine point, but he can only use it when he's sound asleep. And so whenever he faints, that's when it becomes active. I love that little character quirk. It's so funny to me. And just seeing how powerful he actually is, despite the fact that he is a total wuss otherwise, is just great. And then we have my personal favorite character, Inosuke. He is incredible. He's got a boar's head on his head. He's got a woman's face. Dude's ripped. He has a very specific demand for the way his sword's supposed to look, even to the point that when he has swords made for him, he breaks them to look the way that the previous ones were. He is dumb, but smart for fighting, but dumb for fighting, but self-taught. He's a great character. And I actually watched a bit of the dub for Demon Slayer, and Bryce Papenbrook nails the way that Inosuke sounds.
You got spunk. I like that.
He basically, for especially the laughter, sounds like Inosuke, but in English. It's awesome. I love it. And these are all very unique characters that we get introduced to, and I could spend so much time talking about these characters, but I think we're going to move on now. But the characters themselves all play off one another very well. Every character that we're introduced to as sort of an in-passing character seems in some way to be very important. We have the Swordsmaker, we have Tanjiro's Master, we have the demons, who they are playing a big role, but also in the same hand, while they're playing a big role, they're also there to die. And every character involved in the Demon Slayer Corps seems to have their own unique struggles with demons, except for a handful of them. And the ones who we don't really know their unique struggles, we just haven't had enough time spent with them yet. So I'm very excited to see where these characters are going to sort of play into their own and become their own characters. I was actually really interested when we learned a lot more about Sayori, but I don't want to really talk about her either because I don't want to spoil anything. The spoilers I'm trying to save for the scripted reviews, but she's got a very interesting sort of side story that we learn about. And yeah, let's just move on now to what is probably one of my favorite things to talk about in any series, which is the look and the animation. So this show is art. I'm just going to straight up say it. There are so many scenes in this show that are just straight up art. I will show a spoiler clip here and talk about this clip first, so that way you guys can skip to this time here and just continue on where I left off. This scene is art. This is the moment where we see the climax of both Nezuko and Tanjiro working together to defeat the 5th lower moon, and it's incredible. It's so well animated, the movement is so fluid, and the final slice of fire and water and the combination of the two just beautiful. I love it. All right, welcome back, spoiler skippers. It wasn't very long. I just wanted to fanboy about it because it's incredible, and if you haven't caught up to it, that is really kind of sad. You should definitely catch up to the moment that I'm talking about, which you don't know, but you'll know it. It's art. You'll know it when you see it. So anyway, the animation for this show, the art style is definitely unique. Things like the character's eyes, the scarring design for Tanjiro, the hair design is oddly enough rather unique, especially with characters like Nezuko and Zenitsu. And we also have some very unique sort of world designs. It's not too unnatural looking, but it definitely is this very painterly look. And one of the things that actually kind of took me aback, and I haven't really seen this in any other show except for, believe it or not, the 2nd season of One Punch Man, was the almost seamless combination of 3D and 2D animation. There are a lot of moments with this series where just small, high-up shots where detail is not really very important, they'll put 3D animation in. And it almost is one of those deals where until you're aware that they're doing it, you'd almost just gloss over it. It was the same as the first time we were introduced to one of the centipede villains or centipede monsters in One Punch Man. I thought that it was actually just 2D animated until they started moving it a lot, and then I realized that it was 3D. And once you kind of spot it, it's noticeable, but the initial few times that I saw it, it really didn't bother me, and I wouldn't have even thought twice about it. And overall, the show itself just has a very nice, unique aesthetic. The animation only really ramps up when it has to, and the small moments where the animation isn't wrapped up still seem done well enough that you don't feel like you're taken out of it because of one poor animated moment or another. It all just flows very well. When it comes to music and sound design, first off, the music, incredible. Starting with the opening, music's awesome. I would listen to the entire OST of this series unironically and enjoy every minute of it. And when it comes to things like the sound design, I pay attention to sound design more than others, and it is flawless. Like every little thing that just helps the world feel alive is done so well. When it comes to the audio in terms of voice casting, the actual casting both on the English and the Japanese side is on point. I mean, the Japanese side, obviously, any character could be thrown in there, and because it's the original language, obviously, if that's the voice they pick, that's the voice they pick. Of course, it's going to sound good. Well, I can't always say that, actually. There have been some pretty bad Japanese voices. But most of the time, the hardest part is finding a dub actor who has a similar or almost exact sounding voice to the Japanese actor. And in this case, they got close with Tanjiro.
Stepping on a little kid like that! What are you thinking?
They nailed it with Inosuke.
You got spunk. I like that.
And they actually did a really, really good job with Zenitsu as well.
Where are you going, Nezuko? Wait for me.
And overall, this is a show where I would definitely say if you haven't finished it yet, go finish it. If you have finished it, let me know what you guys thought, because I know I'm not going over a whole lot here because I don't want to be here all night just talking about every single episode in glorious detail. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think about it. And my God, like, this is going to be a long-running show. I know that I think recently Black Clover just crossed 5 years, and I am still horribly behind, so I've got a lot to catch up there. But even with that being said, I am super, super, super excited to see where they're going to go with it next. I'm super, super, super excited to see what exactly the goals that are set, what their conclusion will be. It's obviously going to be a very long time before that happens, but we're in for the long haul, man. And this series, again, this series was something that I was told to watch while it was coming out. I didn't. I waited until it went live. Or not live, but went completed, and I could just watch it end to end. And I don't know if I said it in this one or the first take of this video, but I would literally be up until my watch just went off. I would literally be up until like 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 o'clock in the morning, because I realized that I try to watch 3 episodes usually at once, and because that's about the maximum for me retaining the information of an episode. That's what I do usually with my 1 episode on the roll review, where I'll watch 1 episode, retain as much information as possible, and then kind of dump it all on you at the end and give my thoughts. But in this instance, I would do 3, which is about the maximum for my small mental capacity. But I would find myself doing 5, 6, 7 of them, and I'm kind of glad I waited for it to come out so that I could do that. But on the same hand, I'm very excited to sort of have that anticipation week to week that I haven't had in a show in quite a while. Either way, guys, thank you very much for watching this unscripted review. Do you like this format? Please let me know in the comments. Like, I want to know if you guys really do enjoy this format, because it's something that I really enjoy doing, because it gives me just a chance to sort of start a conversation with you all. And I hope you all enjoy the conversation I'm having with you. I want to continue the conversation in the comments. I want to see you guys give your input. So please do that. And apart from that, I'm going to work on the scripted review for this next. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. You all are awesome. And make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. There's 88% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. Would you believe that? I didn't, but that's the case. So yeah, maybe we can get that number up a little bit. But definitely check out everything linked in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure to be there and have a good one. I have shirts. Please buy a shirt if you want to, or a sweatshirt. I'm getting desperate now. I'm just recording stuff whenever I can at the very end of videos, because I'm starting to do context-specific endings and I'm running out of ideas. So just go buy it, please. Don't be shirtless like Inosuke. If you want to save some, go SFMH. Put that as the code when you go to buy it and save 10%. Please, just, yeah, that's my spiel. See ya.